Okay, here we have Kira's butterfly. A little bit of late breathing going on here, and I'll do a stop action the next time she goes through. On the turn, we need to drive those knees into the chest and really spin off towards our back. What's happening here is she's coming up to the wall, not driving the knees into the chest, and then twisting around the long axis slightly. And that causes her to lose a lot of momentum off the wall. Right there in the stop action, that is the point where you can see that she's first starting to really get her head and breathe. And there's a pause in the stroke at that point, causes her to slow down. So we need to really work on trying to do some undulating type of drills, break the stroke down, take it slowly, try to replace that breath a little bit earlier. As the hands are coming in past the chin and shoulders on the way back, that's when we need to be lifting that head. Lifting it late like that causes a real dead spot in a stroke, and then we're not able to keep that momentum going. We're not able to keep that undulation flowing through. Here on the turn, you can see how we never really get those knees into the chest and spin off towards our back. We actually bring them up a little bit, pull ourselves up on the wall, and then twist. We want to try to drive those knees up into the chest so that we can spin off on our back quicker. The only other thing is, on her kick, she does have a pretty pronounced knee bend, which breaks the stroke just a little bit. You can see, especially when she pauses, you have that really severe bend at the knees, which again slows us down also. But keep working on it. Nice job. It's coming. Just work drills, work it slow. Okay, let's take a look at the backstroke. Really balance down into the hips. We need to balance into the shoulder blades, get those hips up. You can see she's on an upward trajectory there, which means she's pushing a lot of water. On the turn, I'll talk about that the next time she comes through. But again, you can see how low that kick is. The kick is not behind the stroke at all. If we get it balanced out, moving from side to side or edge to edge, it's really going to help us. Okay, I'm going to stop action on the wall here. And I want you to see where the arms are. They're outside the framework of the shoulders. And we want to try to use our abdominal muscles to get those arms in, okay? And then when we push off, obviously, we're just pushing off with one foot. Certainly, if she had more of a chance to practice it, she'd probably be pushing off 2 feet. But we want to try to extend that glide out. Make sure that we hit with 2 feet, extend the glide out. Here we're doing slow motion. Again, you can see how the hips are down. All we need to do is rebalance. You need to focus on pressing into the shoulder blades while having our head like it's on a soft pillow. Be careful. She looks like she's taking 2 strokes coming to the wall. We don't want to do that. Could get disqualified. You turn over, you really only get 1 stroke to come into the wall. And again, you want to try to come up further on out, maybe about there, in terms of off that glide coming off the wall. But because she isn't balanced out, that's why her feet are kicking so low, and she really is going uphill with that. And if we can get her balanced out, which really is the same thing we need to do with the fly, is try to get that balance forward, try to get it so that we're swimming through the water more fish-like. Keep those arms in the framework of the body. Make sure we're using our hip flexors and abs, our core muscles, to get us over the top. Nice job. Okay, on the breaststroke, we're going to try to work on balance here too. You can see the head's up real high. We want to make sure that when we're at full extension, really the whole time, we want to make sure that our eyeballs are towards the bottom, our head is down in line with the spine. We have our head up and back, and our hips then are down. And you can see, again, we're swimming uphill. The stroke's not too bad. We see a good arm stroke, a good leg kick. The other thing is we're pausing with our hands in underneath our chin. Okay, you can see it comes in underneath the chest. We need to shoot those hands forward faster. The turn, same thing as on the butterfly turn. We're never driving those knees into the chest. We're not spinning off the wall. We need to get in a nice tight ball to spin off that wall, maintain that acceleration. Really emphasize a nice long glide. Okay, we're going slow motion here, but right there, a long glide, head down, press the chest. In fact, that head should be fully down in line with the arms, or even better, underneath the level of the arms. And you can see that the head's way on top of the arms. On the turn, again, drive the knees into the chest. Don't twist around the long axis and then take off facing the other direction. We want to try to spin off the turn towards our back. Definitely want to work on a good pull out, a good underwater pull down with the arms, and then a kick back into a streamline up into the glide. Try to get much further off that wall. With all the strokes, she's got the initial tools. If we can just work on getting her to balance her stroke out and get her head in the right place in terms of positioning, she's going to be a lot better. And then on these turns, we need to tighten them up. We need to spin off the wall, try to get nice and tight by getting the knees into the chest. Okay, in our freestyle, see how those arms are driving down at an angle towards the bottom of the pool on entry? What's happening here is we're not really catching the water. We're slipping through and not getting until we're close to a third of the way through the stroke. One of the most important things is to lay a foundation by reaching to full extension along the surface of the water and then get those fingertips down, getting a high elbow catch. We want to make sure we catch that water right from the very front end of the stroke. Looks like she's pretty balanced here, other than you can see a lot of wiggling, waggling back and forth, a lot because of the kick and because we do take a little bit of a break in our turn for our head for a breath. See, when she turns her head, she doesn't really sneak a breath. She really takes and holds that position with the hips down and then the knees bent. On the turn, same thing as backstroke. We're getting the hands outside the framework of the body. And look where she came up in terms of her glide. We want to go twice as far out. You want to push off the wall on our side or towards our back and then gradually glide or twist within the glide itself so that we come a good 5 to 8 yards off the wall instead of coming up within the first 2 or 3 yards. See that pause she takes in that breath. And I really think it would help for her to do a lot of drills, just breaking the stroke down. And then alternate breathing. Breathing to both sides is going to help. Here she does have her eyeballs towards the bottom, which is good. Nice job.